I'm going to say this a couple of times throughout the night, but make sure, and I'm a living testament of it, with The Best Man in 1999 when we premiered here. Social media means everything to a movie like this, okay? So please, if you like the movie, or if you didn't like the movie, I don't see why you wouldn't, tweet about it. Social media, you know, Facebook, email, even the snail mail email will probably work. It should work for us. And it's very important, so please hashtag, you know, Urbanworld as well as Beyond the Light. And remember the date, November 14th. So, I just want to say, I'm honored to be here. Gina, Reggie asked me to do this. I've known Gina a very long time, even before we were both, you know, making movies. And up to now, where we are consultants on each other's scripts, you know. And I am one of the people who read one of the several drafts of what was called Blackbird, now Beyond the Light. So, Gina, where does the inspiration of this labor of love come from? Why tell this story? Why are you so passionate about telling this story?
It all started with what I wanted to do next after Secret Life of Bees. And I decided I wanted to do a love story again. It had been 14 years since Love and Basketball, and wanted to get back into that genre. But I also wanted to do a music film. Some of my favorite films are music films, and so it's really about putting those two things together, and then finding a story that could fit within that. And it was really two things that happened. One, as this idea was coming to me, I went to an Alicia Keys concert at the Hollywood Bowl, and in the middle of the concert, she started singing the song Diary, and it was just an amazing experience as a writer to suddenly have this character and story come into my head, and it was as if I was watching a movie while she was singing. And then the second part of it, at that same time, I was dealing with some personal issues in terms of being adopted and tracking down my birth mother. And it just finding out the circumstances of my birth, which was not cool. And just really, when meeting her, realizing, wow, she had kept me, what my life would have been like to be raised by someone who both loved and hated you at the same time and resented you. And I thought that was an interesting thing for a character, someone who grew up without unconditional love, which should be really the right of every kid. And that was really the foundation for the Macy Nomi relationship.
Okay. You know, it's one thing to see a movie, to watch a movie, but it's another thing to experience a movie.
Yes, it is.
And I, for one, and I know I'm not alone here, really felt this movie. Like, from the moment that little girl has to throw away her trophy, until the end of the movie, you feel it. So how are you able to achieve that? I know, that's right. That's the kind of question I ask.
Well, I would say it's two things. One, it starts with the script, and for me, writing this script took a couple years, and 55 drafts is up on that screen, and it was just trying to hone it and give it to the crew, and really working with Reggie Bythewood, my husband, and a brilliant writer. He and I just working, and really he would not let me out until it was right, and that so it starts there, and then again, casting is everything, and I was blessed with a phenomenal cast that came together, and these two so believed in the vision and their characters, and embodied those characters fully, and protected their characters as well, and I think it shows up on screen.
Absolutely. Gugu, you came across like, any pop singer that's out there right now. Rihanna, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj. You just captured that character. What was your preparation like? Well, first, what drew you to the project, and then how did you prepare and just embody that role?
Thank you. Hello. What
drew me to the project. I think when I first read the script, I thought that Gina had done such a phenomenal job in showing kind of the underbelly of the music industry, in terms of, you know, yes, we have all the gloss of that sort of manufactured pop star kind of image that we're so familiar with, but it also showed, I guess, the sort of psychological effects of fame, and for me, you know, the idea of mental health and how, you know, if you don't have a sense of self-worth, it really doesn't matter, you know, if people are lauding you with all these accolades. So for me, I thought that that was really a worthwhile story, and I felt like it was really uplifting, and I felt like the love story was beautiful and fun, and that there was an intimacy and a realness to it that I thought was really refreshing. And in terms of preparation, I first read a draft, I think, of Blackbird in about 2011. And you know, I auditioned for the role a couple of times, and then Gina was just kind of prolific in supplying me with reference material, in terms of, you know, not just watching music videos of contemporary artists, but also directing me to, you know, stars of yesteryear like Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland, and reading their biographies and seeing that this potentially toxic mother-daughter dynamic and this, you know, these young girls that are groomed into an over-sexualized identity in the industry. It's actually been going on for quite a long time. So, you know, there was that, and then, you know, we spent a lot of time together. We went and watched concerts. We went to the Grammys. We saw Rihanna, Beyonce. I also had to watch all these films like with Bette Midler in The Rose, and, you know, Lady Sings the Blues and Purple Rain. I mean, we really saturated ourselves in music movies, you know, from things like, you know, Purple Rain to Walk the Line, to, you know, things that weren't necessarily obviously correlating with this sort of genre, but you know, and also then there was the dancing and the singing training, and, you know, I worked quite rigorously with an amazing choreographer called Laurianne Gibson. And she really put me through my paces. I mean, hours of sweating in the dance studio, and worked with an amazing vocal coach called Deborah Bird, and also had my first experience working in the music studio with The Dream, and, you know, his amazing team. So yeah, it really was sort of a whole mixture of stuff. And then working with Nate, I'm going to let you speak now. You know, Gina, you know, we had some rehearsals, and Gina, you know, brought Nate into the rehearsal process, you know, quite early, and we got to do some improvisation. And do you want to talk about that?
Well, no, the first question I have for you, Nate, is very serious. Okay, so no, I'm serious. Who was your trainer? Nutritionist. I need that number. No, but seriously, Nate, phenomenal performance. And it really, you know, it's funny because when I read earlier drafts of the script, I don't think I quite realized, and it comes through in your performance as well as, you know, what you were able to do editing-wise, that these two are on very parallel paths.
Absolutely.
And so what was your preparation like? What drew you to the project? What was your preparation like for Kaz?
Well, first it starts with Gina. I think as an actor or artist, you want to trust the people that are directing you. It's so important, and I always told Gina she has a green light, a direct line. I said, if you have something that you think I'm right for, you don't have to go through the agents or anything, just call me.
Wow.
And then, so that's how it started. I knew that.
Gina and I are very good friends, so. You know.
But I knew that it would have integrity. I knew it would have a message. So it made it very easy for me to be involved. I actually worked with Gugu early on, before I was attached to the project. Gina did a couple things, and she asked me if I'd come and help out. And I responded to the material, and I just came to help. You know, Gina tells you to show up, you show up. And then it kind of came around, and they ended up coming to me, and it was an easy yes. I mean, a lot of people think when they see a film, or how much was improv. I think it's important to know that so much was on the page. Like this, she wrote it all. Like we weren't making stuff up. She was very intentional about the direction she wanted this project to go, and because it was so deep and so thought-provoking, it just made it easy to kind of slip in. And the chemistry, all these things were a product of her genius. One of the things she did to us, she set us up. She called me one day, she said, I want you to take Gugu to lunch in the valley.
Kaz taking no.
Yeah, Kaz. She's like, I want you to be in character. And so I was like, cool, she wants us to talk and get to know each other. We get there, not knowing what to expect. We're sitting outside, and she won't take her glasses off. I'm like, take off your glasses. And all of a sudden, people started coming up and taking pictures. First it was like one person, then 2 people, and then it was like 10 people, and then it was like 15 people. I'm like, where are these people coming from? So the people in the restaurant didn't know what was going on. They weren't in on what we were doing. So we went inside, and all of a sudden, how many people? Like 50 people on a motorcycle, SUV that were blocking off. It was the most insane experience I've ever had. But here, I had to protect her, and I had to deal with these people, and they had this bravado. I mean, they were so disrespectful. I was like, I know Gina didn't tell you to say that. But we made it through, and there was a bond, and I remember driving back together and reflecting like that was an amazing experience. And we never could have prepared outside of her putting that together for us. So it was a lot of those things. She's very, very prepared in what she does. A lot of people say, how come it takes her so long? Because she wants to do it right the first time. All of her films are ones that we love. And I honor her for that, for taking that kind of time to do it right.
This film took kind of not only took a while to write, but it took a while to get on the screen. Stephanie, could you talk a little bit about how the movie came to finally be up on the screen?
Sure, I can talk about that. Well, first of all, Gina had written an amazing script. Gugu was already cast. They'd already shot an amazing 8-minute trailer, basically a couple scenes from the movie. It was fantastic. My job was really, really easy. I just picked up the phone and, called everybody and said, oh my God, this is such a great movie, who wants to make it? That's pretty much how it went down. And BET, Reggie brought BET in early on. They backed the movie, they loved the movie, and having their just confidence behind us, we all brought it to Relativity. And the folks at Relativity, we had one meeting. It was one meeting. We sat at a table with Matt and with Tucker and Robbie and Happy and Josh, and they said they wanted to make a movie. And they did. And that's pretty rare in this town.
All right.